Welcome back to Red Business in Focus with thanks to Cork's local enterprise offices, where we're meeting the personalities behind ambitious businesses in Cork. And this week we're meeting with Robert Barrett, who founded a distillery with his wife Bagia called Rebel City Distillery. It is a craft distillery situated in the heart of the Docklands in Cork City, which is the first distillery in Cork City in 50 years. Robert, you're very welcome. We spoke on the Red Business podcast previously, but I'm delighted to say you brought loads of stuff with you today that we couldn't do the last time. So, like everybody who's on the podcast, you have 30 seconds to tell us a little bit about what you do.
Thanks, Jonathan. Happy to be here. I founded Rebel City Distillery, as you said. I come from a distilling background of 10 years experience in various distilleries, both in Ireland and Canada. And along with Bagia, set up Rebel City Distillery. We launched during the pandemic with our first product, Maharani Gin. And then last summer, launched Ireland's only absinthe, as well as our visitor centre experience.
Okay, and the visitor centre is really intriguing. So what are you inviting people to go and see?
We have a number of different experiences. We have a kind of a standard tour and tasting where people can come in, taste our gin, taste our absinthe, see the distillery, where we make it, and we'll talk through the history of our product and even the building, which is an old Ford factory building. Then we also offer cocktail masterclasses where groups can come in, learn how to get a tutored experience of making cocktails using obviously our gin and absinthe. We also do afternoon gin and tea, and at the late end of summer we'll launch our spirit school where people can come in and make their own, be it vodka or gin.
Yeah, I have to say, you make it sound a little bit like Hogwarts, but for drink, which is one way of doing it. What you talked about your background. You might tell us a little bit about that, because I would imagine somebody who makes absinthe and who makes gin has to have a good background in it.
Yeah, so my original background was biochemistry, spent a little bit of time in cancer research, and then decided that lab-based work wasn't for me, so I tried to think about what other things I could do with biochemistry background, and fermentation and alcohol is essentially biochemistry as well. So I did the Masters in Brewing and Distilling in Edinburgh, and then went on to work for Cooley, first in Kilbeggan, then in the main Cooley distillery, and then moved to Vancouver, set up and ran a vodka, gin and whiskey distillery there. Came back, helped set up the Shed Distillery, and then worked as a consultant for 4.5 years on various projects such as Waterford Whiskey, Renegade Rum, Clonakilty, and a number of other projects. And then started talking about with Bagia doing our own distillery. She has an MBA, she comes from project management experience in IT. She's worked in both India, Spain and Ireland. So between the two of us, we felt like we could put together a good project and a good product, especially with Maharani, which takes both from sourcing spices and botanicals from Kerala, southern India, where she's from a women's collective, hence the name Maharani, and my experience in distilling, and bring that together for the first product from Maharani, which we launched into the first lockdown. Yeah.
So it's a fusion, a classic fusion of two cultures in many ways. Look, there's easier ways to make a living. People conjure up ideas of people mixing stuff in their bath. You've never had to do that as such, but I mean, how has the site progressed, and how have you managed to get it to the point at which you have a product that's on the shelves?
Like, we first saw the site probably 2018, and then started, along with the owners that we leased from, making some changes. When we saw it first, it was an empty shell. Ford left in 1984, and this particular part of that building was left empty as well from that time to this time. So the outside doors had to be renovated. They're the original concertina doors. The original windows had to be put back in, and then we started making our changes by putting equipment at the end of 2020. And then install equipment February 2020, which was good and bad timing. Good in that the commissioning engineer could come and actually help us install. Bad in that the next month was March 2020.
Yeah, when the world kind of stopped. Yeah, but the good thing is we needed gin to get through it, and I have to say the product is really, really fabulous. It's wonderful. The branding on it, everything about it, and you've got your Blas na HÉireann Silver Award there as well, which shows that you've national recognition at least. How has the local enterprise office helped you? Because there aren't that many new distilleries as you established.
No, local enterprise have been like fantastic support right from the off. We we got grant support prior to setting up for capital purchases and wage support on our initial setup period, and then we also just have received another grant, business expansion grant, which will help us offset some marketing expenses in America, where we launched in September. And so, you know, Niall and Ivan and Ita and everyone in the local enterprise office has been, you know, phenomenal support for us right from the off. Like.
And what did that business expansion grant allow you to do?
It facilitated Baggy coming in full-time and being able to leave her full-time job in the IT sector through a wage support grant, and it also it will offset marketing and expenses in the States as we go forward in our launch here in the States.
So a big help, so.
Yeah, a big help, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
There is an international element to this, because this is the type of product you can sell anywhere. Irish spirits have a really good reputation, but nobody made Irish absinthe before. How has that been going down with consumers?
Yeah, I mean, like at the moment it's fairly small distribution profile compared to Maharani, the gin. We do get people into the visitor centre that have traumatic experiences from Prague when they were 17 and have some different idea of absinthe that we want to put across.
My thought of absinthe is kind of lighter fluid that you just happen to consume by accident, but yours is different.
No, ours is it's a bit more restrained. It's more on the aniseed licorice notes. We bottle it at 50%, and we also recommend that people add a bit of water, ice water, to it until it goes cloudy, because the oils from the aniseed are soluble in ethanol and insoluble in water, so that's why it switches from clear to cloudy. In terms of like how it's been received, you know, Leslie Williams of Examiner really liked it. Like the gin has won the Blossom Heron plus 4 other international awards, and yesterday on the absinthe we got our first award from the first competition we entered. We got silver at the World Drinks Awards for the absinthe. Thanks a lot. Well done. So it's been well received from, you know, outside judging panels.
So where can people buy it right now? They can obviously buy it directly from you guys on the website, but where else can they find it?
The gin ones first. So like from our website, irishmalts.com, celticwhiskeyshop.com, 70 odd super values, O'Donovan's, Bradley's, Matson's, lots of bars and restaurants in Cork and some in Dublin. And then for the absinthe, it would be ourselves, Matson's, Bradley's, Celtic Whisky Shop.
All the best kinds. Yeah. And what is the website address if people want to look at it?
It's rebelcitydistillery.com.
Brilliant stuff. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us, Robert Barrett.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
That is it for this episode of Red Business in Focus. Make sure you join us next week. We're going to get crafty with Susan Hurley of Crafty Minds. Susan is an East Cork potter based in Midleton, where she runs her studio creating and teaching pottery. I've never had a potter on the programme before, so we're looking forward to seeing that and how sustainability has influenced her business decisions. That's next week on Red Business in Focus, with thanks to Cork's local enterprise offices.